My name's Noah. I have two businesses in the food industry. One is a cafe by the 930 Club in DC, or by Ben's Chili Bowl area. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the DC area. And so that was started a little over a year ago, and you know, Yael was talking about how she needs to spend $250,000 to kind of build up her space. We were contemplating with how do we open up a cafe and kind of test the waters. So what we did is we went to a local bar and said, hey, you're not open during the day. Let us come in and open a cafe here. We'll give your bar more exposure. We can circumvent all the capital hurdles and the regulatory hurdles to opening up a place and test it out. So it's gone from being a pop-up to, you know, it still kind of is. We have a symbiotic relationship, but we're still kind of still pop-up, even though we're there pretty permanently now.
Who is we?
So I had two partners in doing this. It still did cost money, but, you know, a lot less than $250,000. So that's one of them. It's called the Blind Dog Cafe. And yeah, they have delicious cookies. We don't have cake pops.
Yes.
We do have delicious cookies. And two of my partners are actually the ones who started Union Kitchen. We do breakfast and lunch, and then everything is baked in-house. So there is a small area to bake in there. So we bake all of our own cookies and anything else you can imagine, muffins.
That's 7 days a week?
Yeah. This is a bar that, it's more like a lounge that's kind of under the radar. There are no signs. There's still no signs really that this place exists. We did have to get some food handlers permits, and we had to take a Safe Serve certification class. But in terms of most of the regulatory stuff, it was already on the existing property. So we you know, I wouldn't say lucked out. That's what we wanted to have. We had employees too. The rent was probably like the same, but you know, in the beginning we negotiated a very like low to zero rent, just to say, hey, like this is gonna be good for you anyway. I guess the worst thing was just, you know, even though we were able to build up a lot of hype and, you know, we were in terms of press for what we were doing at the Blind Dog, you know, still it's just like a Tuesday afternoon and like one person in your cafe. You're just like, I don't understand. Like, there are no cafes around here. You know, we've been validated by all these places, all the blogs, the Washington Post, Washington, like whatever it was, and there's still nobody in there. And that was all because the location that we picked does not have high foot traffic. And it became a destination place. And even though it was in the vicinity of neighborhoods, the way people walk to work every day, we were not on that route. You know, we were 3 minutes to the left or to the right. And that made a huge difference. And it still makes a difference today. You could still go to the cafe and on a weekday and you might not see as many people as you'd expect. Somebody could take the concept and do it anywhere, yeah. And then in more of the startup, like tech stuff, I have a company called Feastly. And so what we have created is basically a marketplace that allows any passionate cook to go on there and offer a meal with the number of seats and the menu and whatever else it might be and the price point. And then we have a community of feasters as well as like the networks of that cook who go on there and be like, hey, I really want to go to this meal on, you know, April 5th. And basically it brings people together around the dinner table. And the idea is that, you know, we always talk about what we're eating, but we never talk about really like how we eat. And it's a big part of why we eat. So we look at kind of our mission is to bring people back to the original social network. But we also have people, you know, who she made amazing ice cream and she actually works for the White House, but her passion was ice cream. And she started doing some Feastly dinners or ice cream tasting, and now she's actually making her ice cream in Union Kitchen and doing some more stuff with it. So we also look at it as another way for people to test whatever it is that they're doing and get a feel for it. We have someone else who also works at the Pentagon, and she has a passion for cooking, but she doesn't want to leave her job at the Pentagon, so it now enables her to have, you know, this supper club with this market of people that want to go and attend it. So those are the two
And the
businesses that I run.
prices they charge are all over the place.
They're all over the place.
Yeah.
From
Can you give us some examples?
from free to $150 and everywhere in between. Yeah. So some of them are much more home cooking based. So we have a lot of like immigrant grandmothers who are making food that you can't really find in restaurants. We have a lot of people who deal with a lot of dietary kind of, not restrictions, but just lifestyle. So whether you're paleo or gluten-free or halal or kosher, macrobiotic, vegan, to the people who are just adventurous eaters. So there's a lot of things that people are making that you wouldn't necessarily find in a restaurant. I'd say primarily it's late 20s and 30s, but it's been the whole gamut from a family coming with their 14-year-old daughter up to a 75-year-old grandmother. And we basically, the reason why people are coming is they don't really know who else is coming. You can invite your friends, but you don't know who else is there. And the idea is that we want to connect people around this common interest, which is the food. That's all why they're coming there. But from there, build off that and allow for real relationships to form, which they do. People have found girlfriends and boyfriends. They found business partners. They found just friends that are still continuing today. So really trying to create a wider community.
So they decide, whoever's hosting, they want to put something together, they decide how much it's going to cost. So for instance, the ice cream, say $5 a bowl, and you decide you want to go. What type of fees are imposed in terms of utilizing your company?
So we basically, our online platform does a few things. One, we have like the meal management, so like being able to post pictures, etc. The booking management, making sure that people can just easily pay and go to it. We also deal with the payment piece of it, as well as marketing tools for you. So templated tweets and Facebook messages and email messages. So you don't really need to think about it. You can just copy and paste it and just send it out. As well as just the community of people who you don't know, and that's the idea, is that everyone in this room know people, and probably we don't always know the same people that cross over. But with this is now that maybe you did something and you did something, and they'll both see each other's stuff, and it creates this viral aspect.
Right.
So the fees that we impose are this: is that typically we add 10% onto the meal. So if it's $20, it'll be $22 on the site, and then we take 20% of the whole. So the cut for you is 88% of whatever your listed price is.
What if it's free?
Then we don't collect anything. That's totally cool.
And how many people attend the average meal?
Average is about 12, but it's been everywhere from 4 to 60.
Really?
And so we're operating now in DC, the greater DC area, so that includes Virginia and Maryland. New York and the greater area, and San Francisco. But the idea is that we'll be in every city in the world, so no matter where you are, Bangkok, Bangalore, Boston, you'll always be able to find a home-cooked meal or be able to find locals that you want to interact with when you travel or just move to. There are all sorts of other communities that want to connect but maybe don't know how, so that's everywhere from the large kind of Christian communities and to the military, to the AARP. So we're thinking about broader communities and how to bring them together in kind of non-traditional ways.
Would the point of free be to just kind of advertise your food and
Some
people start out free and then start charging?
Sure, we always want people to start off lower typically, but so there are also people that are sponsors, right? The dinner table is really valuable real estate for all types of food products or kitchenware, and we don't really want to become a marketing platform in that sense, but there are people that do want that fit with our philosophy and our brand that we might want to bring on, and they might sponsor a meal, so it is free for anyone that signs up. There are also religious organizations who just want to have meals, and they might do things that are free. The idea is to really bridge the online and offline world. So we have all these social networks online, but a lot of people are still eating alone or not really interacting. So it's like, how do we leverage technology to actually create real world connections?